Okay, so today we are going to be talking about Amazon Lily, which is a really quick 10-chapter arc. Chapters 514 to 524, volumes 53 and 54. Probably not the full volumes. Finally, I'm gonna actually have a short and not emotional video. I'm pleased. Amazon Lily. I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought it was good. I thought it had some great moments, but overall, I didn't have strong feelings about it. I guess this is kind of the reprieve arc or the bridge arc. I don't know, filler arc that I thought I was getting last time. In the last arc, I thought we were just having a fun, light time, following some heavy themes, but for the most part, it was a reprieve going into the next big emotional stuff, and it ended up hurting me so much. This one did feel like a filler arc, not filler, reprieve. I don't know. It felt like a bridge. It felt like it was getting us somewhere, but standing on its own wasn't the strongest. It wasn't weak. I enjoyed it. It's just definitely not up there in what One Piece is, like what One Piece brings to the table. This is not one of the arcs that kind of displays that. It definitely had some high moments. It definitely seemed to serve a purpose, though I wonder if maybe this arc will seem more relevant and worth it to me on reread, like looking back at it, because maybe a lot is going to build from here. But from where I'm standing right now, it seemed to add a little bit to the story, but it didn't even need 10 chapters. It didn't even need to be that long. But it's fine. It was still a fun time. I'm ready to get on with it. So anyway, we're in Amazon Lily, which features the Island of Women. I don't remember what the island's called. Maybe it'll be on the screen. Maybe I won't. After Luffy has been pawpawed away, he lands on this island of women that is completely 100% made up of women. The lore of the island is essentially amounts to every now and then a woman leaves the island and somehow comes back with a baby. Nobody knows how. The baby's always a girl. Nobody knows how. The island itself sits in the Calm Belt, and there are a group of pirate women who basically any ships, there's a ton of giant terrible monsters around, and any ships that come near the pirates pillage and thieve in order to bring back supplies to feed their women. And the mantra of this island is strength is beauty, which I like the mantra, but we'll talk more about it later. I am glad that the arc starts off with already establishing for me what kind of mental state Luffy is in, because that was one of my biggest concerns going into this. How's Luffy doing? How are my people doing? How are their emotions? How are their bodies? Are they okay? And I had to only know about Luffy for the longest time, but I am glad to know right off that he has established in his mind, okay, I'm not dead, which probably means that none of my friends are dead either, and we're all just flying through the air for 3 days straight. It was interesting to see Luffy explore this island, and as he faced different obstacles, he would constantly come back to, man, I wish Chopper was here. Man, I wish, fill in blank here was here, and kind of acknowledging how deficit he is without his crew, which, we haven't really followed just Luffy since the very beginning, right? I mean, from like volume 1, he was alone, but then very, very quickly he started building up his team of people that served to fill in his gaps as well as to like stand back to back with them so that he was never fighting alone. Luffy is very much a brute strength kind of guy, which was made very clear as soon as he got that paper back, and he was like, okay, I need to be traveling this way. And instead of going around or over the wall, he's just like, guess I need to go through it. Like, Luffy. He's such a brute strength kind of guy. The majority of obstacles he faces, his mentality is, I'll just punch harder, which will only get him so far. And the way the team works off of each other is just, it's like my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing. And I'm so sad. I love Luffy. I do. I love Luffy. I love him so much. But I love this crew. And only following Luffy for 10 chapters, not 10 chapters, for like 9 chapters was I missed him. I missed them. I missed them. Anyway, he eats mushrooms because of course he does. And he just keeps on eating them until he almost dies. And this is where we get introduced to the women on this island. Luffy gets a new getup, which is just top-notch wardrobe change. We have some amazing lines and scenes from Luffy, like when he apologizes for insulting the clothes and then is like, so could you not shoot me now? Or when everybody is trying to kill him and so his response is, I should probably kidnap this girl that has this paper I want. That'll definitely help win over this island of people that has already sentenced me to death. I mean, at this point, really, how much deeper can you dig your grave? You're already about to be executed. Why not kidnap somebody too? And he also has great lines where he's thinking about his crew and he's like, all right, as long as they're alive, we can fight. So as long as they're alive, we're good. I love his faith in his people. Oh, and then you also have great moments like when Luffy decides, I need to get off this island. There's no boat, so I guess I'm gonna build a raft. And the girl instantly is like, that's a terrible idea. You shouldn't do this, dum-dum. And so his response is to go ahead and build the raft. And it's pretty much the worst thing that's ever been built ever. So when we're first introduced to Boa, I'm pretty sure that's her name, Gorgon Medusa lady, Warlord of the Sea, I instantly loved her. I mean, first of all, she's a warlord of the sea. We meet her when she stones all of the admirals, turns all the admirals into all the Navy guys into stone, and challenges the Navy admiral. I love her general vibe and demeanor. You know, she's a warlord of the sea, so we know she's capable of something great. And her being a warlord of the sea is essentially what keeps this island alive, because she's exempt from consequences of all the pillaging that she does to supply things to the island. At least that's the way I understood it. And when this admiral, who we've seen before, comes in and says, hey, there's an execution and probably there's gonna be a war now, so we need all the warlords of the sea to be present so that when war happens, we can fight, right? I mean, that's how I'm understanding things up to this point. Correct me if I'm wrong. And her response is, nah, I don't wanna do that, so no. And then she turns everybody to stone, except for our admiral, who stabs his hand to keep himself from that. So she just leaves him. She's just like, can't be bothered. Bye. Then she goes back on her island full of her loyal subjects who absolutely love and adore her. What does she do? She kicks baby animals. She knocks over and destroys statues that children made of her. And she chucks the past empress out the window and then gets out of the consequences by giving puppy dog eyes. I loved her instantly. She is seemingly very powerful. She just has a no F's given kind of attitude and unabashedly terrible, but gets out of everything because she can puppy dog eye her way out of it. And she seemed cool. I kind of have mixed feelings on her now, but I really liked her on introduction. Oh, also, we can't forget that old Empress lady actually tells her, if you don't respond to this call, if you don't do this thing and go to the council at Marine Ford, then we all die. Our island, you're gonna lose your warlord status, which means that we're not protected anymore, which means that we can't survive anymore. Right? Isn't that what she said? So then our Empress lady says, you worry too much. I genuinely don't care. And I just really like her vibe. Now we're back to Luffy, who admittedly I forgot about for a second because Boa was pretty cool in her introduction. Luffy climbs to the highest place he can find because powerful people are up high. I love Luffy, I love Luffy, I love Luffy. And then he falls into the bath of our Empress lady, and she doesn't want her back to be seen because she's Medusa, and she's not Medusa. And she has a mark she has the eyes on her back, supposedly, that would cause anybody who sees it to be turned to stone, right? So Luffy does not turn to stone, so she tries to forcibly turn him to stone, and, you know, her powers don't work on him. And that scene was I love the face Luffy makes. I love everybody's confusion. I love Luffy's general innocence. You know, he's such a child. He's so childlike. His simplistic way of thinking, his wholesome outlook of life and outlook on pursuing your dreams. I love Luffy, and even in this context, he's just so childlike. He's just so like, right, but is there food? You got a boat? I'm trying to get back to my friends. Even when they start talking and she's like, I know you're up to no good. You're clearly after something. And his response is, yeah, I want a ship. Hey, you're the boss, right? Can you give me one? Can I have a ship? Add to the childlikeness that is Luffy, go ahead and add on no social self-awareness whatsoever. So then we get to the fight, which I think is my favorite part of this arc. I think that the fight and the backstory are the two strong points of this arc to me. So the fight, because we really get to see some really amazing Luffy moments. Boa, I'm pretty sure her name's Boa. Medusa Warlord is, she turns her own subjects to stone, and Luffy has now learned that these subjects, they saved him. So even though he didn't know that 1 second ago, now that he knows that they saved his life, now he feels an obligation to them. Not even obligation, he just wants to be there for them now, because loyalty is a big theme for Luffy. Being willing to do anything for your crew, and these people did something for him. They just showed loyalty to him, and so now his loyalty is set. And I love that about him. So he's genuinely amazed and disturbed that this woman would do this to her own subjects. And equally as amazed and disturbed that this crowd of people would just accept that about her. So now Luffy is going to fight to the death for women that he just met, and that some of them have tried to kill him. But it doesn't matter, because here's an injustice. Here's someone's freedom being stripped of them. Here's something that he has deemed unacceptable. So this is his biggest priority at the moment, and he will risk his life to try to get them turned back and to protect them. I love how much throughout the entire fight he's trying to get them out of the way. He's trying to make sure there's no cracks or chips. He's just trying to take care of these people that he doesn't even know. So I'm going to talk about Haki at the end of this video, but right now I'll just note, I find it interesting that these women, I assume because of their Haki, are able to cut through Luffy's devil fruit powers. Do something so that he's being affected in a way that he shouldn't because of his rubber powers. And also, at the same time, he isn't affected by her devil fruit powers. So I assume that it's the Haki, which again I'll talk about at the end of the video. I assume that that is the thing that is making Luffy, that's making them cut through Luffy's abilities and like affect him more than they should. But at the same time, I guess he did display Haki, whatever that is. I don't know, he's able to resist her powers, they're able to cut through his powers. There's something happening here. I still don't understand what Haki is, but again, we're gonna talk about it later. Because right now, we need to talk more about how amazing Luffy is. So the fight was really cool. We had some good moments there, but what stood out to me the most in it is Luffy's drive with this fight. Like, he's willing to take on this fight for the sake of these women. He's trying to protect them throughout it. But then when we're in the midst of the battle, we find out that one of the snake ladies' clothes have burned off, and so now her symbol is showing. So Luffy realizes, oh, this thing on her back, I could expose it right now if I move. And so he tells her, I know you're trying to kill me, but I'm not interested in killing you. Don't move, I'll protect your back. So they clear the room and ask him, why did you protect us? Why did you protect her from being exposed? And his response is, what's on your back has nothing to do with what we're doing here. And I just really love Luffy's sense of honor, his sense of values, or rather the code of values that he's that he's decided are his own. So the fight's over and he instantly goes to the statues to make sure, like, okay, there's no chips, there's no breaks, like, you guys are still safe, you're still good. And then he turns to Miss Warlord of the Sea and says, all right, so, like, you want to fight now? Like, is this what we're doing now? And she says, nah, I don't feel like it. So he's like, cool, can you do this thing then? Can you fix these girls? And she thinks she's getting down to the core of how evil men are, how evil he must be. And she says, you have two options. I'll give you the boat that is the thing that will get you to your crew, get you off of this island, the thing that you want most in the world. I'll give you your boat, or I'll set these women free. And Luffy is maybe the coolest guy I've ever read. I mean, like, is Luffy just the best character? Genuinely? Without hesitation, without second thought, instantly, he bows down, knocks his hat right off his head, and says, okay, great, yes, please set them free. Thank you so much. He thanks her. He's just so good. He's just so sweet. And I believe this probably marks the moment where Medusa falls in love with him. This is certainly the moment where she's decided to trust him. When the girls are unfrozen and they're like, how can we repay you? He's like, just feed me and we'll be even. I love him, I love him, I love him. Warlord Medusa decides to tell him her backstory. It's clearly rough, and Luffy instantly is like, whoa, you don't have to tell me all this. Don't put yourself through this. I love Luffy. I love Luffy. Listen, I have complaints about this arc, and I will talk about them soon, but I just need to be really clear that Luffy, in an arc that was dedicated to one character, which I didn't need, I wanted more from the crew, Luffy shone. I mean, he was the character we were paying attention to, so of course he did, but Luffy shone so much. We got so many little moments that showed his kindness, his caring, his ridiculousness, his humor, his childlike wonderfulness that we all love, but also just how genuinely, like, I just love him. I just love him. So we get Medusa Warlord's backstory, which I think was handled so well. I think that this is definitely one of the best moments of this arc. We see that the thing that these sisters are trying to hide is not the Gorgon eyeballs, but instead slave marks, because the Knot Island that we just left, they were once captured and enslaved there. And we get hints of some really dark stuff from just the few panels that we saw of her describing that, you know, essentially this past is what has made them so afraid of and jaded towards and hating of men. These owners that they had proved to them that no man can be trusted. And Oda, I just want to take a break from reviewing or from discussing the events of this arc, and I just want to take a second to really applaud Oda here, because he did such an amazing job of hinting at darkness, of true terrible darkness that these women went through, while leaving it for the readers to decide how deep we want to dig into this. You know, how much do we really... we get to decide for ourselves what we think happened to them, and we get to decide for ourselves how deeply we want to dig into that and draw symbolism. You know, he left ties, he left links to different things that can kind of help us to paint our own picture, to decide for ourselves, but he also left it open-ended for us to decide how far into it we want to go. And this is something I've talked about a lot on my channel. I know a lot of you guys that watch these videos don't watch my other videos, and that's cool, no problem. But I am a big fan, if an author wants to go dark, if an author wants to go grim dark, if an author wants to, like, really paint a deeply dark world, I'm a big fan of nuance. Some authors that want to go grim dark, or that want to explore something really terrible, a lot of authors decide, I want to make this world dark, I want to really show you how bad and mean and evil this world is. So I'm going to bash you over the head with it. I'm going to make really long, drawn out, detailed scenes showing you this heinous thing that has happened to this woman. And I don't think that it's necessary. I appreciate nuance. I appreciate an author packing that punch, showing you the intensity of what this world is, the darkness, the evilness that these characters are doing, without needing to shove it down your throat. I think that a properly written nuance scene like this hits way harder than a really drawn out, detailed, let me show you everything about it. And I just think he killed it. I think he knocked it out of the park with this scene. Absolutely killed it. We also find out that oh no, I'm not gonna remember their names. The ones that the ones that we got to know, Hatchen's crew, Hatchen's previous pirate crew, the ones that did all they did to Nami, we find out that some of them were also captured in this Knot Island and enslaved, and who knows what happened to them. And they also have the slave brands, but when they became a part of the pirate crew, they rebranded themselves. They adjusted the brand to be their pirate symbol. And even the pirate crew members that were never enslaved, they still took on the symbol, so that one, no one can ever know which one of them were enslaved and which ones weren't. And two, I don't know, I guess camaraderie. I think that's incredible. These are people that I do not forgive. I don't forgive them. It doesn't justify what they did to Nami. Knowing why they hate humans does not justify their actions against Nami and against anyone else that they've harmed. But I really appreciate that Oda can create villains that are just plain evil and that we get to hate with every fiber of our being, like the celestial dragons, the astronauts. But he can also create nuanced villains that commit despicable crimes that harm people we care about, people we don't know. It doesn't matter. They're terrible. And we don't forgive them, but we do get more depth into them so that we can understand them better, and it turns them into not just like the big bad, but characters, evil characters that we still hate, that we still think are horrible, but that are allowed to have layers and nuance as well. It makes the world feel more real, despite being an absurdist world. It makes the world feel more real and more, I don't know, better. I just think that Oda killed this backstory in every regard. We also learned about the guy who freed them. I don't know what to do with that, but I assume he's coming back around. I assume Tiger something is we're gonna see him again, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him better. Anyway, we're done with the backstory, and now Warlord Medusa has fallen ill with the most terrible disease that has killed off every single Empress of the Sea, except for the one Empress of the Sea that left for a while and came back, not having her sickness anymore, and you know, then stayed and lived. And old lady past mistress, no, Empress, is trying to force Medusa out the door so that she can also recover from her love sickness. I don't know, man. It doesn't matter. She's lovesick. She fell in love. She's competing with Sanji for the role of the biggest simp. And it's fine. It's fine. I get it. I understand. Once we know her backstory, once we know that she just genuinely doesn't trust men after what she's been through, and she's always been abused, she's always been used, she's always been, you know, manipulated, and now she's introduced to a guy who even when he sees her naked, just genuinely is just like, can I have some food? Can I have a boat, please? As well as seeing him fight for the freedom of people that he barely knows and sacrificing his own dreams and his own desires and his own way out to his friends without hesitation, sacrificing all that for the freedom of other people. Naturally, this woman who was enslaved, freedom, and seeing somebody who cares so wholly about freedom, I get it. I get it. I don't need this from her. I love her character. I love her just I don't know, even when she leaves her sickbed and is in front of her subjects again, she goes back to just being this no F's given, you know, just like powerhouse seeming woman. I don't know, I like her vibe. I really like her vibe. And I don't, while there's some funny moments along with her like absolutely doting on him and needing his attentions and him being completely oblivious. It is a funny dynamic, and I'm not bothered by it. I think it's fine. And there's definitely humor tied to it. I just really love her vibe as the Warlord, and this other side of her where she's doting on Luffy while the two are funny opposites. I just like her character so much that I don't need the simping side of her. But I guess I feel the same way about Sanji. I love Sanji's character. I love his character so much. I don't need the simping side of him. But it's not like I don't like his character because of it. And this is one of those moments where I realize that I really misunderstood something when she explains to Luffy about Ace's execution date, and then Luffy realizes what kind of danger Ace is in. And that was my bad. Back in Thriller Bark, when I first learned that Ace had been captured and that his life was in danger and that we need to go after him and save him, I learned it through the Warlords of the Sea reading a paper. And then in the very next scene, Luffy sees his paper that is in his hat that Ace gave him is burning up. And I put the two together, and I projected knowledge on Luffy that Luffy didn't have. So in my mind, I'm like, why are you not going after your brother? But to Luffy, he's just thinking, my pirate brother, who's a part of one of the biggest, baddest pirate crews in history, is off having a fun adventure. He's in danger, whatever. I'm in danger every day. I didn't realize, it was dumb. I should have realized that Luffy didn't know the level of Ace's danger. But anyway, he does now, and so that's his #1 mission, which I can get on board with. Anyway, we end this arc by finally seeing all the other crew members, and it's not like it's been that long. It's only been like 8 chapters, but I missed them so much. We finally see the other characters and see what islands they've been banished to very, very briefly. And we also see Ace locked up and, you know, beat up and in terrible condition. We see Garp talking to him, which, oh my goodness, this must be, I mean, I assume Garp also raised Ace, not just Luffy, so this must be so hard for him. And we see that all of the Navy admirals and big fellas are coming in, all the warlords are coming in. Medusa has agreed to take Luffy, and she's agreed to take the call and to attend the war, and she's going to take Luffy with him, smuggle him along with her, so that he can get to his brother, which is cool. I'm happy. I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased with that development. I'm really looking forward to the next arc. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Oda is constantly telling me, hey, we're going to Fishman Island, and then it's like, we'll get there someday. Or, you know, like, hey, Ace is in danger. We'll talk about it again someday. Like, he's constantly building me up to these big things. And then I'm like, good, let's go. And he's like, Amazon Lily first. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think we're about to have this big, massive, epic war where all of the powerhouses in the world that are pretty much all more powerful than Luffy are coming together. And it should be amazing and terrifying and horrible. But maybe not. Maybe we're gonna go do something else for a while. I do want to say one thing really quick, and I don't know where I'm supposed to fit this into the video, so I'm just gonna put it here. I don't know, man. So remember when I said that I think Bible Guy is probably good? I think he probably has good intentions, and he's like trying to help the crew. And my thought, my hope, my dream was that he sent each of these crew members to islands that they would like. Which is why he asks people, where would you like to go if you went on a trip or on a vacation? You know, he asked my ghost girl that, and I like to think that she ended up in a haunted castle where she can sing her cursed songs. And she did. But he didn't send her any servants, and that's so rude. Servants or stuffed animals. Come on, be considerate, man. But anyway, he sent everybody to these islands, and now, I don't know. I'm still thinking, I'm still theorizing, I'm still collecting information. But he did seem to send every single one of our crew members to a place that is deliberately terrible for them. Like, he sent Usopp to this terrible bug island where he's being attacked all the time, and Usopp is our most terrified character, our most fearful character. But on top of that, he did just torment Ghost Girl with bugs in Thriller Bark, and now he's being tormented with bugs. I don't know, maybe a connection. You've got Zoro, who I'm just gonna throw, no one's gonna believe me, and that's fine. But I did say on Patreon a long time ago, like back in not Thriller Bark, oh, it was the last arc, when Zoro first disappeared, I did say that my headcanon was that because Zoro never answered Bible Guy of where he wanted to go on vacation, Bible Guy just sent him to the last location he sent somebody, so he's chilling with Ghost Girl. And he did. I mean, I don't know if that was the reason why, but that's totally where he went, and I'm so happy. But anyway, back to my point. This is pretty much the worst place Zoro could go. I mean, hanging out with a girl who loves all things cute and sweet and fun, but also she's kind of obnoxious. I mean, she likes to haunt things, and this is kind of the worst situation. And then, of course, her response is, oh, cool, I have a servant now. And so I'm sure she's putting him up to terrible shenanigans, and he's absolutely miserable. I think any crew member would hate this less than Zoro. Robin, with her horrifying past, is sent to this work camp slaver type island. If you look at each individual place, each individual person and where they were sent, they're kind of sent to the antithesis of what they are or what they would want. They're kind of sent to, like, the worst place they could go to. I mean, even sending Luffy on an island full of women where their first instinct is to kill all men that enter, you know, I don't know, maybe he wasn't trying to help them out at all by banishing them instead of killing them. Anyway, my overall feelings about this arc are that I liked it, I just didn't love it. I'm glad that it was short. I'm happy to move on, but you know, it was still a good time. There was some great humor in the arc, some really funny moments, some amazing character moments for Luffy. We got to learn a little bit more about Haki, which again, I'm still gonna talk about eventually. Soon. The video's almost over, so you know it's soon. Luffy got to learn about Ace, which means that he will finally, hopefully, go after him. And Luffy, is now, he now has a way to get to Marineford so that he can help Ace, or Impel Down. He's finally gonna get to Ace and hopefully do something about his situation, as well as, I assume, has developed an ally with one of the Warlords of the Sea, which is certainly a better situation than his current status with the other Warlords of the Sea. I mean, having an alloy of one of the 7 Warlords that's good. That's a good thing. That will probably help them. So there's definitely some movement that happened on this arc, but I don't know if there were 10 chapters worth of movement. It was good. I enjoyed it. I just didn't love it. Boa herself, I think is her name, Medusa Warlord. She's a character that I love her general vibe of, and I'm so, like, she had such a great backstory, but, you know, I kind of have mixed feelings about her. I think most of my mixed feelings, other than just, like, I don't need her to be a simp, but it's not that big of a deal. I don't really care that much. I think the main thing that kind of is making me hang up on her, the biggest hang up I have about her is that the island's entire mantra is power is beauty. And they love that they're strong women. They love that they're workers. They love that they have strength. Oh, not power, sorry. Strength is beauty is their mantra. And they love that they have strength, that they have these amazing abilities, right? And that's cool. So it kind of bothers me, and this is probably a personal thing, I'm sure no one else cares, but it kind of bothers me that that Boa, I think her name is Boa, that her whole shtick is she's the most beautiful woman in the world, so if she gives us puppy dog eyes, we have to forgive her because she's beautiful. And like, that's funny, but it's inconsistent. If their mantra is strength is beauty, and yet their leader that they let get away with anything, they let her get away with it because she's beautiful, not because she's strong, then what's the point of the mantra? What's the point? Like, even Boa herself says strength is beauty, but we never see her be strong. I mean, that's not true. We do see her, you know, take down the Admiral and his whole ship with her devil fruit power, but her people never see her be strong, at least not while we're around. Like, everything that she does, she sends her sisters to fight Luffy, and then when Luffy challenges her, she's like, I don't really feel like it right now. And like, everything she does, she's just puppy dog eyes her way out of it. We don't actually see her fight. We don't actually see her do anything in front of her people who are doting on her. And I want her to do something amazing in front of them, and then them say, oh, she's the most beautiful person in the world. But instead, she just like puckers her lips. And then they're like, she's the most beautiful person in the world. And I don't want that. I want her to do something strong, because that's the mantra of the island. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining this well. But like, at this point, at least in front of her people, again, I know when we first met her, she does take down that Navy ship, and that is cool. But in front of her people who are obsessed with her, at this point, she's more passive than Moria. Like, Moria at least did something, even though he was passive for most of his arc. She never lifted a finger. She never fought. She never did anything. And yet, she's the most beautiful person in the world, but beauty is supposed to be on strength, and I don't know, it just bothered me. But she's about to go enter a war, and I imagine she gained her warlord status somehow, so I'm sure she's an incredible fighter, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing that strength. I need more of that from her, since this is what the island is about. Does that make sense? I don't know. It doesn't, when I was talking about this on Patreon, it didn't seem like this was a normal hang-up that people have, so it's fine if you don't agree with me. It was my hang-up. Easily my favorite character on this island was Old Lady Past Empress. I think that she was really funny. She was very knowledgeable. I loved her when they were like, we captured all these amazing things for our people. And then the old lady goes up and she's like, did you capture any books? And it's like, so good. And then when Boa was like showing emotion while she was telling her terrible, horrible, tragic backstory and being completely emotionally vulnerable, an old lady like bursts into the room and is like, oh, you've got emotions, do ya? It's so good. It's so funny. But my biggest complaint about this arc is simply that it was so hyper-focused on Luffy. We have spent this entire series so focused on the entire crew and getting so much depth out of these layered, incredible crew members that we have. And the fact that we just don't know what happened to them for the majority of the arc, and then when we finally see them, we only get a couple of panels of each of them, and they all seem to be on most of them seem to be on really interesting islands. I would have much preferred, like, is this all we're gonna get of their islands, of them on their islands? I really hope not. I really would have preferred if this arc wasn't so focused on this island of women and we still got the highs of this island. Like, there were amazing moments on this island. And I would have preferred to keep the amazing moments, but then also split it up with getting POVs from each of the characters, because right now I don't know the emotional state or physical state of almost any of them. And I barely know what... I care about these characters as much as I care about Luffy, and I have no idea what they're going through right now other than just like a little tiny clip. And I would have preferred to keep Luffy's high moments and to, along with that, divvy it up with like bouncing POVs and seeing everybody else's moments too, and seeing what's happening with them while they're separated too. I would have been far more interested in this arc if it weren't so hyper-focused on one character, since that's not what the series has been at this point, and I wanted to know what was happening with the other characters. That's not a criticism, that's a personal thing. I'm saying that I think that the reason I came out of this arc saying I liked it, I didn't love it, is because I didn't need this much time doing what we did. I would have preferred to compact it and to give more time seeing how the rest of our crew members were and what they were going through and what their islands were like. But it's fine. It was 10 chapters. It's not that big of a deal. Now we're gonna go into briefly predictions. I said this would be a short video. I'm such a liar. Haki. I still don't know what it is, and I don't know that I'm supposed to at this point. So it was mentioned in the last arc, right? I'm trying to remember the context of it. I didn't talk about it in the video because it was mentioned so briefly and so many other things were happening. But haki was mentioned in the last arc, and I didn't know what it meant, but I assumed we were gonna find out. So it's been mentioned several times now. The women of this island are clearly proficient in it, despite not all of them not having devil fruit powers. So it clearly isn't dependent on devil fruit powers. The woman who saved Luffy and who got turned to stone, she was merging her arrows with haki power, and that made them more powerful. The snake women were able to overpower Luffy's powers through their haki. Luffy used haki. I really hope I'm saying that right. He used it on like the whole crowd and made everybody pass out, which I've seen people pass out before in other contexts. So I think I've probably seen this power used elsewhere. And Luffy apparently has the power equivalent to a chosen one. It's so strong, for whatever that's worth. So I still don't really know what it is yet. I just know that it's something that isn't dependent on devil fruit powers, that seemingly several characters have, not just in the instances in the last 2 arcs where the word has been used, but even characters that the word is not being used. I'm still kind of seeing this effect happening. And it's clearly extremely powerful. I mean, like, I'm sure it's going to be the next big thing, right? Like Gear 2 and Gear 3 were. I'm sure this is the next big thing that levels up our characters. I just don't really understand what it is yet. But I'm trying to piece it together, and hopefully I'll get more clues eventually. Tiger something, the guy who freed the sisters when they were captured and enslaved on Knot Island, I definitely think he's coming back around. If I should know about him at this point, I don't remember, but I am looking forward to getting to know him more because I'm very, very curious about him. And lastly, I guess this isn't really a predictions section. I guess I am gonna predict something. It doesn't matter. Lastly, there was a panel where Luffy said he's going after Ace, and he basically told his crew members without telling them, sorry guys, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. I'm taking a detour. And okay, one of 2 things is gonna happen. One, Luffy's going to meet up with his crew and they're gonna get back together and they're all going to take on this giant war together. Or 2, Luffy legitimately is not going to meet up with them and he's gonna go try to do this all by himself. And he's gonna lose. I mean, throughout this whole series, the crew has been what makes fights successful. Like, their ability to work off of each other and their teamwork and them fighting together and calling out orders and like their seamless ability to fight together and their interactions is, I mean, it's, listen, relationships and friendships and family relationships and bonds, like all this stuff, this is my favorite part of storytelling. So I love the way that they work together and fight together. And I don't think Luffy can do it alone. I think that if Luffy tries to fight this war, which technically he's not going in thinking I'm gonna fight a war, he's just trying to get his brother out. But it doesn't matter. I think if Luffy goes in without his crew, I don't think he can do it on his own. So either the crew he's either gonna meet up with them and they're all gonna fight together, which is what I want, or we're gonna follow just Luffy for a little bit longer, but then the whole crew in the background will have been coming together and we'll have a here comes the cavalry moment and they'll come in and they'll all fight together, which I'm fine with. Or we're not gonna see the rest of our crew for a while. We're still hanging out with just Luffy. Luffy's gonna fight by himself and he's gonna lose. And if that's what happens, I'm gonna burn the place down. I have a lot of emotional stakes in this game. I have a lot of emotions tied up in this series, and I really want my crew back together. I love Luffy, and I think that Luffy can shine on his own very, very well, but I want my crew back because I'm very invested in my crew, and I'm not okay with them not being part of the show right now. So I want them back, but I also am genuinely afraid that Luffy can't do this on his own, and I don't want him to fail. So, sorry for another long video. You guys keep telling me that it's fine that I do long videos, but this was 10 chapters. It seemed like it shouldn't have been more than 30 minutes, but I failed there too. Anyway, I would love to continue chatting with you about this. Let me know if I missed anything or if I got something wrong. I appreciate how much you guys have been clarifying things in the comments. It has been super helpful to me. I will continue chatting with you about it. Next week will probably not be the next arc review. I'm gonna take my time on that arc because I have a feeling, I mean, as long as we're actually about to have like this big thing that it seems like everything is building up to. If it's gonna be another like pretty chill arc, then I'll probably have an arc review out. But if it's gonna be a really intense arc, like I kind of think that it's building up to be, then I'm gonna be taking my time on it. So the next video, I'm still gonna have a really fun One Piece video. I have a really fun video planned, but it'll probably be 2 weeks until my next arc review if it's going to be, if this arc is gonna be what I think it's gonna be. Okay, I've talked long enough. Be sure to chat with me more in the comments, clarify things if I missed stuff. I really appreciate you guys doing that. I post videos every Tuesday through Friday. I'll see you again on my next One Piece Friday. Bye.